Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show, and in today's episode, this is a little bit of a serious episode, but it's more so to, I guess, help guide people in a situation like this. So, and there ain't no, real motivation behind this episode, I've never been a part of no abusive relationship. I've known people that have been a part of an abusive relationship, whether it was, physically or mentally. And I kind of just wanted to, not so much speak on those situations, but kind of, use those situations as the motivation, to these, to this, episode and stuff, because I feel like a lot of people need to overall know, you got to get out of an abusive relationship. You should not continue staying in an abusive relationship. And I know a lot of people say that it's hard, and yeah, I get it. You may have love for this person, or you're scared of leaving because you're afraid of, what might happen. The thing is this, and I think people probably would overall ask me, you can give me any scenario out there, whatsoever in an abusive relationship. I guarantee and I promise you I would give you guys an answer for it of what I would genuinely do, so who knows, maybe because I've me never being in it. The thing is, I'm not going to say that that's never going to happen to me. I stopped thinking along those lines, I had to say, when I experienced, the first death, in my, immediate family and stuff, where, and it was something where it's I never thought oh, that's never going to happen to me. I just never thought about it. So I feel like the more life experiences that you go through, the more you will think about certain things. And that's why I have to say, with deaths, with losing friendships, what else, heartbreak, depression, whatever, life-changing event that you possibly can think of, I've thought of it, or I've either have been through it, so that's why I'm with an abusive relationship. I know people would ask me, what would I do if I was in an abusive relationship? And I would try to come up with every way possible on how can I leave this relationship with my life to be guaranteed to be safe and things. Because I think that's what a lot of people, when they fear, it's when you're leaving a relationship. I mean, look, there's I think it was the porn star, Christy Mack or something like that, where she had, is it Chrissy or Chris? Tomato, bro. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyways, no, so I remember when that situation happened, when her, mixed martial arts, husband, whoever the guy was. But anyways, so I thought at first when that situation had came about where she was, I thought she just had a guy over and he got jealous, but no, the situation was that she was trying to leave him. And then that's when he did what he did. And it was when I had seen that, I'm my thing is this, and it's, I guess, to talk to the abuser, why continue putting a person through that? Because, and that's one thing that, there's people that are the abuser in a relationship where they don't want to think oh, well, that'll never happen to me. There ain't nobody in this world that's going to abuse me. I check that real quick. And that's that aggression, that's that anger in them talking and stuff. But them, who they are, the person, behind the anger, the aggression, the strength, all that stuff, the individual behind all of that, the anger, the aggression, that person, that they're never going to deal with, an abusive relationship. But the person behind it, though, that's who they don't want to be in it. They try to have this bulletproof vest over that vulnerable person, because I guarantee and I promise you, if that MMA fighter, that guy that was married to Chrissy or Christy Mack, whatever her name is, I apologize for the name and things, but anyways, I guarantee and I promise you, if that dude was in an abusive relationship, he would be doing the same thing that she was trying to do. And he doesn't think of that. He didn't think about that until he realized that he was getting like a life sentence. I think that dude ended up getting a life sentence, but that's where that stuff leads to. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, that's one thing, like, growing up, you know, like, I seen like a lot of different, you know, movies about abusive relationships. I mean, there is the Tina Turner movie. Of course, like, you know, because like just chilling with my mom a lot, me and her, we would watch a lot of different Lifetime movies. So yeah, there was at times where, like, you know, Lifetime movies would show that type of stuff. We would, my dad, I know me and him, we would watch like those like true crime shows, and you would hear about like the abusive relationship stories where it was like a significant other was, you know, killed in some gruesome way and things. And so growing up, like, and you see that, that's one thing that, you know, like, not even so much as like, you know, you're but you know, it's like overall, like, you are avoiding it, but it's like you learn from those things. That's why I feel like a lot of people, they just need to overall like watch that stuff more of a learning reason and things, rather than just, you know, watching it for entertainment purposes. I mean, I feel like that's what a lot of people do when they watch like those like crime shows, like documentaries and movies and all that. I watch movies for like a educational reason. I know, like, you know, yeah, there are at times, well, I'll watch movies for, you know, entertainment purposes, but I feel like a lot of times, like, you learn something, you pick up something from those movies, on whether it's how to act, what to do, you know, like, whatever the movie is, it's like, that's, you know, you pick up from that stuff. So, excuse me, watching a lot of different movies about that type of stuff, like abusive relationships. Like, there is the one movie, it just overall like teaches you as you like grow older. It's like you can never ever put nobody through no stuff like that. But anyways, there is one movie I like remember, and there's a couple of movies, because I'm like, I overall went to, there's like two, and I think, yeah, both of them are based on a true story, but there's two movies where it's like, you know, it ended in the girl getting hurt, and then it ended in the abuser getting hurt. But anyways, so the movie where it ended in the girl getting hurt, like, the guy, I mean, he was going off on her, was literally beating her in front of a cop. And that's where it's like, fam, if you're dealing with something mentally, you should like handle that stuff first. But it's like, if you do get into a relationship, it's like you need to know that you gotta separate that anger that you have in you from the individual that is involved. Now, the thing is this, I feel like we all kind of go through something mentally. You know, maybe we don't, but I feel like for the most part, we kind of go through something, you know, mentally and things. And that's one thing for sure, is that whoever I'm in a relationship with, I will literally take that with me to my grave. Whatever anger that I have, I would not want that to be on them. It's like, we got to get this stuff worked out. We got to go to relationship classes or whatever. I got to go to anger management classes. I will be doing everything possible to just ensure and let that individual know that she does not have anything to worry about when it comes to me and my issues. Those are my issues. And that's like, you know, one reason why I'm not really big into like, you know, smoking and drinking. I'm not saying that, you know, like it causes that, but I have seen like documentaries and movies and stuff, and have heard situations where it's like, you know, smoking and like drinking can, you know, lead to some sort of, not like all the time, but like in some cases. And I'm like, I'm not trying to be that case. I'm not trying to be that case where it's like, I drink, she tells, she's talking to me about my drinking, and I go off on, I'm like, nah, man, I don't want to put nobody through that. So anyways, getting back to the movie. So yeah, dude is like beating her down in front of the cops. She ends up taking him to court. I think he was found not guilty, but it was the fact that it even required a court, like, you know, I mean, well, I guess like in a situation like that, like, you know, I mean, any situation, whether it's murder or whatever, but like, I think it was a trial, and it went on for a while, I think, because I was like, that was the whole reason why it was even a movie in the first place. And I mean, and I'm like, how does something like that even have a trial? How does something like, because I'm like, if you have all of these witnesses, I mean, I think the girl's friends and family was there. I think the cop was there. It's like all these people, this dude is literally like stumping her out in the street and stuff. And no, and well, I mean, like, you know, I guess like if people are scared because they're like, this guy is crazy and stuff. But overall, the fact that it was like, you know, it was even a trial and stuff, that's what confused me. And I'm like, why? And even in the other movie I'll be talking about, this movie is also based on a true story. And I think I mentioned her in one of my streams, like it was a long time ago, just so because I think at that time like the movie had just came out and stuff. But and you guys might have heard me mention, I can't remember the first girl's name, but the other girl that she handled the abuser. I mean, in both situations, I feel like the abuser was handled and stuff because it was like the guy went to I cannot think of the name of that movie and things. I think the guy though that played as the husband, I think he did play. Was he the dad in Pet Cemetery? Hold on, let me look up the original Pet Cemetery movie because I don't know if that was. I can't remember if that was him or not. I can't remember the name of that movie. He's done so many different. Oh, they're like going all the way. Was it a '90s movie? Is it this? No, it was this. No, it was okay. So it was so it was A Cry for Help, the Tracy Thurman story. So yeah, I was like, I remember the homie. I remember the dude because he played as the husband in there and stuff. So I was like, I almost forgot that he was in there. But yeah, it's a really crazy movie and stuff. Like it was something where I'm like, wow. But the fact that it was like, yeah, it was a case and things. I'm like, nah, you guys are insane for letting that even be a case in the first place. It's like that man should have been found guilty as soon as he had walked in there and stuff. But he actually did that movie the same year he did the Pet Cemetery movie. That's crazy. But anyways, so the next movie I wanted to talk, the person I wanted to talk on is Lorena Bobbitt. Now, many people may not know who that individual is, but to explain to you guys what she did, and I think that's, in some situations where you got to put the abuser in some sort of like fear or, you got to like do something. The thing is like, I'm not a person where it's like I recommend violence, but like if you're defending yourself, then I'm like, hey, whatever you gotta do it. I'm not gonna condone it, but at the same time, it's like if somebody's doing that to you, it's like, you gotta at times fight fire with fire and stuff. I'm saying this because I'm like, I don't want YouTube to be all like, oh, well, he's promoting violence. I'm like, I'm not trying to, but at the same time, it's like I would rather for the person to defend themselves and be alive than to not defend themselves and then they end up, in a situation where it's like they become a case or whatever. But anyways, talking on this Lorena Bobbitt situation. So she had an abusive husband. Dude was like abusing her all the time and things, just like going crazy on her for no reason. But so anyways, she had enough. And this is honestly like, it's one of the most craziest things that I've ever heard. But at times it's like you got to overall do some stuff to like let a person know. It's like you cannot do this. And I think after that, it's like he had to change his ways. He had to like change who he was and stuff. But so anyways, one night while he was asleep, and I think it was like right after he just finished like, abusing her and stuff, she, I think, had grabbed a knife, grabbed his junk, and cuts it. I think she didn't like all of it, just half of it. Like not the one that, you use to go number one and stuff. Grabbed it, chopped it off, drove off with it. Like, I kid you guys not, drove off with it, threw it out in some wood somewhere. And I think eventually, like, they did find it and they were able, I guess, to put it back on within the, like, time and stuff. But that should be a sign right there where it's like, and that's the thing where it's like people think that your significant other, because I feel like that there will be some abusers that will hear this podcast episode and will be all like, oh, she'll never do that to me. How do you know? And that's what I want to overall put in people's mind. If I'm not putting it in people's mind enough, I want to put it in people's mind is, how do you know what your future holds for you? How do you know? Because I'm saying there's even like fictional movies. There's the one movie, I watched that movie a lot because I like the ending, but it's this Jennifer Lopez movie called Enough. And so, yeah, she might not go through no extreme measures to, chop your junk off and things. But let's say she joins a fighting class on the low. And then one day you try, like, pulling some abusive stuff on her. This girl then got you in some, like, arm bar and she done snapped your arm in half. So it's like, it's things, well, I mean, Jennifer Lopez, she just straight beat that man and was like, kicked him off some like, second, like floor area and he slammed on his table, died and all that other extra stuff. But anyways, but no, it's like, she'll go through that. She might go and get a weapon and then she uses it on you and stuff. Like, there's so many different things that, it can like a person will try to get to and stuff or do because they have reached their breaking point. They can't be in that relationship anymore. So that's why, my advice to, an abusive individual out there is like, stop, okay? Apologize, abandon that relationship, because I feel like that would, you never hear in those stories like that. At least I've never heard in those stories like that. But I think if I realized what I was doing and I realized that it was like the pain that it was causing somebody, I would apologize for everything that I did. I would pack up my stuff and leave. And I'm like, it's like, always know. I'm like, I got your back, and it's just one of those things. Because it's, I mean, like, you don't really know the situation where it's like, if she don't got nowhere to go to or whatever, and it's all like, hey, I will help you. But it's like, I just, overall, I'm like, and that's the thing where I know people would be all like, was she, because it's like, just playing out more scenarios and stuff. She sees that and then she still wants to be in a relationship with me because she's forgiven me for all the things. I'm like, the thing is, it's stuff like that where it's like every time when you would look, at least for me, it's like every time when I look at her, it's like I'll think about that type of stuff, and I just think that it's probably ain't good for me to be in a relationship if something like that, were to go down and stuff. But it's like, I'm just going to say right now, it's like no woman will ever have to worry about that. I will slap and hit myself before I slap and hit a woman and things. No, I'm sorry, but it's like, you grow up around women and things, and then, like, a lot of your friends are women, and, you tend to gain like a high respect for them and stuff. And I feel like even if it wasn't the case where it's like, okay, like, I grew up around a lot of men, grew up, like around my dad and, his brothers, my uncles, grew up around like a lot of like male cousins and all that stuff. Still, it's like, it's just something where it's you gotta like learn and understand. It's like, you can't put anybody, I mean, just talking on myself, but even for a woman, it's like, you can't like manipulate. And even there's been stories and situations where like women have been abusive to men. There's the one story that I was just watching on Court Cam a couple of days ago where the woman, she was mentally abusing, and I mean, you would hear of like physical abuse too, but no, there was the situation where the guy was, I guess, like he was mentally going through some stuff and he was talking on like ending his life. And yeah, it was a very horrible and tragic situation, but the girl was literally edging him on. And yeah, I'm like, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. And he did end his life and things. And I think she did get some time in prison, but it wasn't enough. I'm like, for something like that, it's like a person should get life. Because I'm like, that's not cool. Like, if you, like, because somebody's dealing with some stuff and then you put them either in a, like, more deeper and darker depression, it's like, yeah, you deserve life in prison for some stuff like that, so. But yeah, like, overall, like with abusive relationships, I just think that, it ain't good for nobody. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, if you putting somebody through an abusive relationship, stop it, abandon it. And if you are in an abusive relationship, it's like, you just gonna have to try your hardest to leave and stuff. So, but anyways, I don't know. I might probably try to do a part 2 to this episode. I feel like there's more to talk on. But, and that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.